This year's coverage of Pax East is brought to you by V1 Tech. If you're wanting to improve the looks of your custom PC build with things like matching backplates, power supply covers, SSD covers, and more, then V1 Tech has you covered. You can hit up their website and upload your custom designs or choose from their custom color selector for just about every case and graphics card you can think of. Be sure to check out the link in the description below to v1tech.com. So I'm here with Mark at the Logitech booth. He's going to be showing me the new Logitech G Pro gaming keyboard. It's a TKL keyboard. Why don't you tell me a little bit about it?
Okay, the G Pro keyboard was built by working with our teams at TSM and Cloud9. They loved our G810, but they wanted a shorter keyboard that fits more in a pro environment, because pros get like 3 feet a table. And so we came out with the Pro, which is a 10 keyless design. And while we were at it, we did some tweaks on it to make it a little more higher performance for pros. For example, it has a removable cable, so it's easy to pack because they are on the road 150 days a year. It has a Romer G switches, which, like the 810, actuate 25% faster than a cherry switch. And then we optimized the keyboard keystroke signal processing so that it's up to 10 milliseconds faster than our competitors. So 10 milliseconds is like 2 clicks in Counter-Strike, so 2 frames faster is a big deal.
What's the actuation force on the Romer G?
Actuation force is 45 grams. The distance is 1.5 millimeters, and the total to actuation, and 3 millimeters to total travel, as compared to, say, a standard mechanical, which are 2 and 4 millimeters. So it's a little quicker, a little lighter when you play.
When I was messing around with the Switch, I could kind of feel a tactile bump in there. Is it similar to like a Cherry MX Brown in that way with the bump?
Yeah, it's a very similar tactile to the Cherry Brown, just in a shorter path. So people like the tactile, but they don't like the noise of a clicky, say, a blue.
So there's some kind of, so it's like a Cherry MX Brown with like a dampening going on in there?
A little bit, yeah.
And what's achieving that, the dampening that's in there?
It's just the basic structure of the key design itself.
So it's not like a membrane layer or anything like that below?
There's no membrane. This is a pure mechanical, and it's a special switch. The Romer G switch we developed with Omron has actually dual contacts, so it's a redundant contact system, so that when you press the switch, it closes 2 sets of metal contacts. So it's more reliable, and it cuts down on key chatter and noise that causes latency problems. So it's much more durable.
Very nice. I'm really glad to see you guys getting to doing TKL stuff, because I'm one of those people that I don't like having the extra numpad there. I had switched away from it for a while and then got some keyboards through that had it, and I was just like, now I understand why I stopped using this. It really does get in the way of trying to use it. I think a lot of people underestimate how much that gets in the way of your mouse movements, but being able to stay tight with the keyboard really does help a lot.
Especially a lot of people, pros, tilt their keyboard, and so it's easier to do without it hanging off the desk. And then a low sensitivity CSGO player has lots more room to move their mouse.
That's really funny that you mentioned that, because that's exactly how I keep my, when I go to play an FPS game like Siege or Overwatch, that's pretty much how my keyboard looks right there. I turn it like that, and that's pretty much the angle I like to sit at.
Fingers out, because the keyboard was designed for, not well designed for typing, but they're staggered. So when you're playing WASD, they're actually slightly slanted off to the left. So by twisting the keyboard over, your fingers go in a straight line.
Yeah, because I think most people's arms are going to come inward like that rather than sitting straight ahead like this. It doesn't feel very natural. What else are you guys showing off besides the G Pro keyboard here? I see you got the G Pro mouse. I'm using this at home right now. I just stopped using the G303 to start using this. I'm still undecided which one I like more, but I'm using this one though every day now anyway.
This is super light, and has the minimal number of buttons pros want, and a really high precision sensor. So the combination is like everything a pro needs, nothing extra, and that's what Pro's all about. It's like a race car. No cup holders, no air conditioning, but it drives like a dream, plays like a dream.
And also I think the small shape and the low height also helps a lot in FPS games. It's just having a smaller mouse in general, for me at least, I find that to be a lot more accurate FPS titles. That's why I kind of like the G303. I use like a hybrid of like a claw grip with a fingertip, so having those ledges on the side was really nice. So this is to me is like the G303 just refined in a more familiar shape, I think, to a lot of gamers out there.
Yeah, it's been a very popular shape over the years. It's sort of morphed from early models that people just loved, and they're like, never stop making that mouse. Like, well, we are going to stop making that mouse. We're going to make another mouse that's a little better, but still has that same familiar shape, so that you can continue to play the way you played, maybe play a little better.
Yeah, I could see on the G303 the diamond shape was a little bit a little bit much for a lot of people. I think for me, I was like looking at it was a very aggressive design with that diamond shape. But once I used it and got my hands on it, I was like, this is perfect. Because it's like the little point on the side is like a ledge to just hold the sides of the mouse perfectly. That's what I liked about it so much. And this kind of continues that.
People have talked about actuation speed, which we have that 1.5 millimeters distance. And then everybody talks about polling rate, 1 millisecond polling. We have that. But the key important thing is how fast does the signal get from when the switch closes to out to your PC. And we did surveys of a lot of keyboards and found out some of them were really long, some of them are not so long. We optimize this because we have the durability of the double contacts so that this keyboard sends its signal out in about 2.5 milliseconds. From the time the switch closes to your USB, boom, right? So this device, this is basically has a Raspberry Pi inside, software that ties two keyboards together. Basically, we wired into to tie into the L key, and when you press the red button, it pushes both buttons simultaneously on both keyboards, and then it measures the time it takes for each one to send the signal and shows the difference. So every time you try, basically on average, over thousands of tests, it's about 10.3 milliseconds faster than the Razer Chroma.
Wow.
So that's, like as I said earlier, that's 2 frames in Counter-Strike or 2 frames in pretty much any game, which can be in pro levels, life or death or $1 million.
Have you found a difference in the response time with just different switch types in general? Because I feel like I've been able to feel that with like Cherry MX Clears, felt like they had a little bit longer delay than other switches.
Well, when you like a Cherry switch has a single contact, so you have to be more careful in firmware because of chatter or the thing bouncing when it closes. So they put a slight delay in to protect against bad signals. Because we have dual contacts, we don't get the bad signal, so we can tighten up the time. So the roamers help us with that. And then it just depends. There's a lot of people buying Cherry switches and putting them in keyboards, but they don't all have the same firmware expertise. They don't have the same electronic engineering. So they may use a different MCU, they may try to save a couple bucks, different things, and it causes different amounts of time. It's just like, you can buy 2 PCs that are both Intel i7s, but one's a much higher clock speed than the other, and so that one's faster, even though they're both an i7 processor. So different ways of building and designing the electronics can make latency different.
All right, well, thanks a lot, Mark. I'm going to get some shots of all the products here. Thank you for going over everything with us. Very cool stuff. Thank you.